Hello and welcome to Smart Consulting Sourcing, the podcast where we explore the ins and outs of consulting procurement to help you source smarter, work better, and achieve greater success. I'm Hélène Lafitte, CEO at Consulting Quest, and today we're diving into a topic that's more relevant than ever: digitalizing consulting procurement. The digital transformation of procurement promises big benefits: efficiency, transparency, and better decision-making, just to name a few. But let's be honest, it's not all smooth sailing. If you're not careful, you can fall into some common traps and derail your efforts and limit the value you can achieve. So in this episode, I'll guide you through the 5 biggest pitfalls organizations face when digitalizing consulting procurement. More importantly, I'll share actionable solutions to help you avoid these challenges and make your digital transformation a success. Whether you're starting your digital journey or you hit a few bumps along the way already, this episode is packed with insights you can use. So let's get started. So we'll start with the promise of digitalizing consulting procurement. Why are so many organizations investing in this transformation, and what can you expect to get? Digital procurement solutions are designed to deliver what every organization craves: efficiency, visibility, and strategic alignment. And in consulting procurement, these benefits are particularly compelling. After all, consulting is one of the most complex and opaque categories to manage. It's intangible, high stakes, and deeply embedded across multiple functions in an organization. And digital tools help to simplify this complexity by offering increased efficiency. You can automate repetitive tasks like supplier evaluations and contracting and invoicing, and these digital tools free up procurement teams to focus on strategy activities. It also offers enhanced visibility. Consulting projects often operate in silos, making it hard to track spending and measure ROI. And those digital platforms centralize data, giving you a clear and comprehensive view of your consulting spending. It's also good for strategic decision making. You have access to analytics and insights, and you can identify trends, optimize supply portfolios, and align your spending with your business priorities. But beyond these functional benefits, digitalization is also about future-proofing your organization. The consulting market is evolving rapidly with new players, new methodologies, new technology emerging all the time. And a digital approach ensures that you're agile enough to adapt, while also giving you the tools to evaluate which consulting providers truly bring value to your organization. That said, digitalizing consulting procurement is not without its challenges. As exciting as the benefits may sound, it's important to approach the transformation with clear eyes. If you focus only on the tools and not the strategy, you risk missing out on the value digitalization can bring. That's why today we're exploring the 5 biggest pitfalls you can face when digitalizing consulting procurement, and more importantly, how to avoid them. So if you're ready, we are diving right into it. So we're going to talk first about the first pitfall, which is treating digital tools as the solution. I know it's easy to get excited about that shiny new technology on the market. Yeah, right. Who wouldn't be impressed by AI-powered analytics and automated workflows and sleek dashboards? But here's the harsh reality. No digital tool, no matter how advanced, is a magic bullet. And a common mistake organizations make is assuming that implementing a tool is the transformation itself. You might think, well, we'll plug this in and suddenly all our consulting procurement problems will disappear. Well, this is not how it works. Let me give you an example. It's a large multinational company who rolled out a sophisticated procurement platform across its global operation. And the tool was top-notch. There was spend analytics and supplier performance tracking and even AI-powered recommendation. The problem is that within 6 months, the platform was still barely used by the stakeholders. Why? Because they did not address the processes, the people, and the culture needed to support the tool. Because the truth is, these digital tools are enablers. They're just here to support a broader transformation. But for them to work, you need to build a strong foundation. And that means streamlining your processes first. Because if your current consulting procurement processes are chaotic or inconsistent, automating them won't fix the problem. It will just make the chaos more efficient. That's all. Take the time to assess and refine your workflows before introducing a digital platform. You also need to focus on change management because digital tools often require you to adopt new ways of working, and that is not easy. And if you don't have the proper training, and if you don't get the stakeholder buy-in, even the best tool will fail to deliver. Also, you need to align the tool with your strategy because this platform is only as good as the goal it supports. And before you implement anything, you have to be clear on how the technology aligns with your objective, whether that's improving efficiency, gaining visibility, or aligning spend with strategic priorities. So in short, don't fall into the trap of thinking that this platform is the solution. It's indeed a critical piece of the puzzle, but it's not more than that, a piece. And so to unlock the full potential of digitalization, you need to pair your tool with the right strategy, the right processes, and the right cultural mindset. Now, the second pitfall, and it's a big one, is to ignore your stakeholder buy-in. When you embark on a digitalization journey, it's easy to focus on the technology and forget about the people, But consulting procurement is inherently cross-functional. It touches finance, HR, IT, operation, and of course, the end users of consulting services. And if these stakeholders are not on board, your digital transformation will fail. So why is stakeholder buying so critical? Because procurement does not operate in a vacuum. To succeed, especially in consulting procurement, you need collaboration. You need alignment and trust across the organization. Now let's imagine like a typical scenario. You have a procurement group who implements a digital tool to centralize consulting spend data and streamline supplier selection. That's great, right? But why don't business lines use it? Because why does finance not trust the data? And why does C-suite bypasses the tool entirely? That we know, they prefer their traditional processes, right? But in the end, the tool gathers dust and procurement is left wondering, well, what went wrong? But actually, the issue was not the technology. It was because there was a lack of engagement from your stakeholders. So you need to avoid that situation and you need to involve your stakeholders early. You don't wait until the tool is selected or implemented to bring them in to the conversation. You have to engage them from the start, ask for their input, address their concern, and make them feel like they're partners in the process. But also, you cannot just give them that generic pitch. You need to highlight the value for each of them because they care about different things. Your business line will want faster and easier access to the consulting services of high quality. Finance will want transparency and keep costs under control, while the C-suite will want alignment with the strategic priorities. So you need to tailor your messaging to show them what's in it for them. And also change is hard, especially when it involves new tools and processes. So you have to invest in training programs and offer ongoing support and create a clear documentation to help stakeholders adapt. Also, don't think that once it's implemented, that's fine, because digitalization is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing journey. You have to create mechanisms for your stakeholders to share feedback, to suggest improvement, and feel heard. Because remember that digitalization is about more than technology. It's about bringing people together around a shared vision. And in consulting procurement, where collaboration is key, stakeholder buy-in is not optional. It is essential. Now, the third pitfall is one that trips even the most well-intentioned organization, It's when you digitalize without a clear vision of clear goals. Of course, it's exciting, and it's easy to get swept up in the idea, oh, we're going to be more digital. But if you don't have a clear understanding of what you're trying to achieve, then you're setting yourself for failure, Because when you jump into digitalization without defined goal, you often end up with tools that don't really solve your real challenges. Or worse, you're creating new ones. And what does that mean? It means frustration, it means wasted time, and it means not creating the expected value. So how do you avoid this situation? You have to ask yourself a few questions. And the first one is, what's the problem I'm trying to solve? Is it a lack of visibility into consulting spend? Is it a difficulty managing supplier performance, an inefficient procurement process? Because understanding your pain points is the first step to identifying the right solution. Then you need to ask yourself, what does success look like? What am I aiming to reduce cost, increase efficiency, or is it improving alignment with brightest priority? You have to be specific, because saying we want to digitalize, that's not enough. You have to define your objective in clear, measurable terms. And talking about measurable terms, what metrics will you use to measure success? Because it's not just about implementing a tool, it's about delivering results. Remember, digital is just an enabler to create more value. You have to set the right KPIs to track your performance. That can be the reduction in time spent on procurement tasks, or increased adoption rates among stakeholders, or savings achieved through better supplier management, right? So if you take all of this into one, and you imagine that there's a global company that decides to implement a digital platform to manage consulting projects, of course, they're very excited because the tool is really cool, but they haven't really completely defined what they actually wanted to achieve. And then 6 months later, they realized that the tool that they built does not address their biggest challenges. That's tracking ROI for consulting projects. And why? Because they never thought about it before, and now that tool cannot provide that specific element that is aligned with the strategic goal, right? And that's why clarity is so important. When you know what you're trying to achieve, you can choose the right tools, you can say the right expectation, and you can focus your efforts where they have the biggest impact. Digitalization without a roadmap is like embarking on a journey without a destination. You might move forward, but it might not be in the right direction, right? So the first pitfall is failing to leverage the data your digital tool generates. One of the biggest advantages of digitalization is the wealth of data it can provide. And consulting procurement is no exception. You have spend analysis and supplier performance metrics. You can have insight that were once difficult, if not impossible, to access. But having the data is not enough. You need to know how to use it. And far too often, organizations implement digital tools, collect massive amounts of data, and then do nothing with it. And the data sits in dashboards, untouched, unused, while decision makers continue relying on intuition and guesswork. And why does that happen? The first reason is that these teams are overwhelmed with the sheer volume of information, and they don't know where to start. The second reason is that procurement teams may not have the analytical capabilities needed to extract the actionable insight from the data. And also, if the data is fragmented across different tools or departments, it's hard to get a complete picture. So to avoid this pitfall, you need to take a proactive approach to data. And that means focusing on what matters, because not all data is equally valuable. You have to identify the key metrics that align with your goal. It could be consulting spend by category, or supplier performance scores, or project ROI, and you focus on that. And then maybe along the way, you'll change them because your goals will be different, but right now, this is what you should focus on. Now you need to invest in analytics capability. You have to equip your team with the tools and training they need to analyze data effectively. And that might mean hiring data savvy talent, offering training programs or partnering with experts. And then you also need to break down those silos and ensure that your digital tools integrate seamlessly with each other or with your existing system, because that's the only way to have a holistic view of your consulting procurement activities and enable a better decision making. And then data is only valuable if you act on it. So you have to use your insight to optimize processes, to improve supplier relationship and align consulting spend with business priorities. Now let's take a real world example. If a company uses a digital tool to track supplier performance, but doesn't review the data regularly, over time, you have a key supplier that starts to underperform. That happens, and that causes delays and quality issues. In your tool, you have flagged the problem months earlier. But because the data was not being reviewed, the issue went unnoticed. That's exactly what data can bring you. That's its power, but that's also the risks that come with it. When it's used effectively, it can really drive better decisions, reduce risk, and deliver significant value. But when it's ignored, it's just another missed opportunity. So my fifth and final pitfall is one that is quite common, unfortunately, is that when you overcomplicated the process. Of course, when you want to digitalize your consulting procurement, it can feel like a monumental task. There's so many options, so many features, so many possibilities that it's tempting to try to tackle everything at once and load your solution with every bell and whistle available. But the problem is that complexity is the enemy of progress. And when you try to do too much too fast, you risk overwhelming your teams, confusing your stakeholders, and ultimately stalling the transformation. So what do I mean by overcomplicated the process? So it could be trying to implement all features at once. Because some digital platforms, they have dozens of capabilities, but not all of them are relevant to your needs right now at that phase of your journey, right? Also, if you overload your stakeholders, with changes, you're introducing too many processes and systems and expectation at the same time, and that will lead to resistance and also burnout. Also, not everything will be perfect at first. You can't wait just everything to be just right before rolling out a solution, because that will lead to delays and lost momentum. And what does that mean? It means that your project will be over budget, behind schedule, and probably not delivering tangible results. So how do you keep things simple and effective? You have to start small. You focus on one or two high impact areas to begin with. You might start by only large consulting projects that are managed directly by procurement, or you start with only tracking spend on one specific category, like finance consulting, for instance. That's a way to start small and prove that your tool works and brings value, and then you can evangelize that with the other groups. Also, you need to prioritize your needs, so you don't start on everything at the same time, because all the features are necessary right now. You need to choose the ones that align most closely with your objective and can deliver quick wins. And you can always add more functionalities later. And then you take an iterative approach. You start with that little one, right? Then you roll out the changing in phases, gather feedback, and then adapt and change, and maybe grow a little bit your scope, or grow a little bit the areas that are working with the tool, and so on. You also need to think about your stakeholders and make sure that the process for them is as seamless as possible. You have to provide clear guidance to ensure adequate training and avoid overburdening them with unnecessary complexity. So let me give you an example. That's a mid-sized company that decides to digitalize its procurement. And instead of trying to implement a full suite solution, they started with a simple tool to centralize spend data. So this allowed them to demonstrate immediate value, gain stakeholder trust, and build the case for expanding their digitalization efforts. Because digitalization isn't about doing everything at once. It's about doing the right things step by step. You keep your process focused and manageable. That's what you'll set up for long-term success. There you have it. The fifth and final pitfall is overcomplicating the process. So avoid this by starting small, prioritizing your needs, and taking things one step at a time. So before we sign off, let's quickly recap the 5 pitfalls to avoid when digitalizing consulting procurement. One is treating digital tools as a solution. Remember, tools are enablers, not the solution itself. So focus on transformation processes and culture alongside technology. Your second pitfall is ignoring stakeholders buying. Collaboration and alignment are critical. So you need to engage stakeholders early, show them the value, and provide training to ease the transition. The third pitfall is not having clear goals. You have to define what success looks like before you start. You need clear objectives and measurable KPIs to keep your efforts focused and effective. Your pitfall number 4 is failing to leverage data. Data is your secret weapon. Don't let it go to waste. You have to build analytical capabilities, focus on key metrics, and use insight to drive action. And 5, overcomplicating the process. You have to keep it small. Start small. You have to keep it simple. Start small, prioritize high impact areas, and take an iterative approach to avoid overwhelming your teams and stakeholders. If you avoid this pitfall and you follow this actionable solution that we've discussed, you can set yourself up for a successful digital transformation in consulting procurement, one that delivers real value for your organization. So if you'd like to learn more or need help navigating your own transformation, don't hesitate to reach out at Consulting Quest. We specialize in transforming consulting procurement and offer a digital solution, consource.io, to make it easier. So visit us at consultingquest.com or consource.io, or email me directly at hélène@consultingquest.com. Now, thank you for joining me in this episode of Smart Consulting Sourcing. And until next time, happy sourcing and au revoir.
Thank you for tuning in to Smart Consulting Sourcing, your ultimate guide to mastering the art of utilizing, buying, and managing consulting. If you like this episode, don't forget to subscribe or leave a review. And if you need more, just connect with us for a free consultation. Let's continue the Smart Consulting Sourcing game together. And before you go, happy sourcing.